Hello and welcome to another build guide video for Diablo 4, and today I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite classes in all of Diablo, and I'm gonna talk about the Necromancer because we're gonna take a good look at the Necromancer with minions. Yes, I know minions got nerfed really hard and they're not as good as they used to be during the first beta, but I still like the gameplay with minions, so that's why I try to make a build work with minions. So those are my skills. Those are the skills I'll be picking and playing with through the campaign and up to level 50. So that build is focusing on leveling through the campaign from 1 to 50. Those are the aspects I'm using, but we'll talk about that later. And here you can also see my Book of the Dead, but now I would say let's head over to the skill tree and just take a sneak peek over here until I will show you how you can level up and which skills to choose from at which point during the leveling phase. Like always, I will guide you through the levels 1 to 50. Okay, here we are with a brand new skill tree, and first of all we'll pick our generator, and I'm going for decompose here, and then we'll head over, put 2 points into that, and right away unlock the bone spear with going for the supernatural bone spear. That makes enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds, or at least the first enemy it hits. This is really strong, and it's practically, I think, one of the highest damage skills the Necromancer has. So I'm going for bone spear with decompose, and as soon as we've put 3 points into bone spear, you're gonna go ahead and put 1 point into Acolyte's Decompose. You and your minions deal 10% increased damage to enemies who are being decomposed. So that is really good to further enhance your damage. And now we've got the next category, and here we're gonna pick one defensive skill. We'll play for quite some time until we drop it as soon as we get our golem. So go ahead and pick Blood Mist. That's practically your get out of jail free card. So whenever you get massive damage or are in danger to die, you just activate Blood Mist and, you know, disappear into thin air, basically. So that's your defensive skill you should always use when death is imminent. So that's that. Let's go ahead and put 4 points into Bone Spear. Like I said, it's your main damage dealer, so further increase the damage right here and unlock the next category. So over here we're gonna pick Decrepify. With Decrepify we can curse the target area. Enemies afflicted by Decrepify are slowed by 40% and deal 20% less damage for 10 seconds. Go ahead and choose Horrid Decrepify. When you or your minions hit an enemy afflicted with Decrepify below 10% life, they are instantly killed. This does not work on bosses, but on every other enemy, so that's pretty good. So now we've got 15 levels unlocked, so head over to your gear and skills, and now we can unlock our first point in the Book of the Dead. And you've got to make a choice here. You can either go for upgrade 1 for your skirmishers, and you can raise 1 additional skirmisher warrior. So that's the one you could pick, but I would go for Reapers, because Reapers wield a powerful scythe that has a special wind-up attack, dealing heavy damage every 10 seconds. And if you go for upgrade number 2, upgrade number 1, Reaper attacks against enemies who are immobilized, slowed, stunned, or vulnerable reduce the cooldown of their powerful wind-up attack by 2 seconds. So we're slowing and stunning enemies with our Decrepify. So there's your reduction right here, and we're also making enemies vulnerable with the supernatural bone spear. So there's another reduction right there. So you can expect to get that wind-up attack of the Reapers pretty often, and it's really strong. So next up we're gonna pick 2 passives that are really good. For one, we're gonna pick Grim Harvest. Consuming a corpse generates 9 essence every time you consume a corpse. So this is really good if you're struggling to keep your essence high. Pick it up and just consume corpses even if you don't really need them to raise your minions. So even if you've got all your minions but you're low on essence, just consume a corpse. And from there we're gonna go ahead and pick Fueled by Death, rank it up to 3, and you deal 9% increased damage for 6 seconds after consuming a corpse. So that's really strong, especially synergizing with Grim Harvest. And just like that, we've got our next upgrade in the Book of the Dead. So go ahead and, like I said, pick upgrade 1. And then I would go for the Cold Skeletal Mages. Cold Mages attacks will chill enemies, eventually freezing them in their tracks. So you could go for upgrade 1 if you're still struggling with essence. So each time your Cold Mages damage enemies with their primary attack, you gain 2 essence. That helps a bit, but I would go for upgrade 2. Enemies who are frozen by or damaged while frozen by your Cold Mage's primary attack are made vulnerable for 3 seconds. So that's even more vulnerability for all your attacks, and that of course helps your Reaper's wind-up attack. So there you have another source for vulnerable. So from there on, we're gonna go ahead and pick Corpse Tendrils. Go ahead and put 3 points into it and pick Plagued Corpse Tendrils. Enemies damaged by Corpse Tendrils are made vulnerable again for 3 seconds, so even more vulnerable enemies all around you. And another good thing about Corpse Tendrils is that it only has a cooldown of 11 seconds, and it's pulling in enemies, stunning them for 3 seconds and dealing 20% damage to them. And also enemies who are in range of Corpse Tendrils are slowed by 50% before being pulled. So again, that's helping to reset the cooldown of your powerful wind-up attack of your Reapers. Now we're gonna go back up a little bit to our Skeletal Warrior Mastery. Increase the damage and life of your Skeletal Warriors by 45% if you rank up to rank 3. So go ahead and pick that. And just like that, we've already unlocked our Golem. So before we head back to the Book of the Dead, we're gonna get rid of Blood Mist as we won't need it anymore, and we won't have the skill slot to use it when we get our Golem. So there you have quite a few options. You could either go for the Blood Golem, drains life from nearby enemies to heal and bolster itself. Go for upgrade 1. So the Blood Golem basically is your tank. He absorbs 15% of the damage you would take. So if you have problems with survivability, go for this upgrade. But I would go ahead and pick the Iron Golem, an amalgamation of steel that slams the ground and stuns enemy. You could either pick upgrade 1 or upgrade 2. With upgrade 1, every 5th Golem attack causes a shockwave, dealing 16% damage to the primary enemy and to enemies behind them. But I would go for upgrade 2 if you still have to apply more vulnerable on your enemies, because the Golem Slam attack also makes enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. Another really good upgrade is the Blood Golem upgrade number 2. While healthy, your Blood Golem gains 25% damage reduction and 50% increased damage. So healthy is when you have over 80% of your life. So that's also a pretty good upgrade. But you also could pick something else. You could choose to sacrifice your Iron Golem. So you deal 30% increased critical strike damage, but you lose the ability to summon a Golem. So that's your choice right there. If you choose to play with the Golem, those are the upgrades I would go for. So basically upgrade 2 from the Blood Golem, maybe upgrade 1 if you need a tank, or upgrade 2 from the Iron Golem. Maybe if you need more damage, upgrade 1, but also you could really sacrifice it, and then instead of picking the Golem as your last skill, I would go for the ultimate Army of the Dead. So go ahead and pick that and integrate it to your build. But now it's time to level up further and pick some more passives. So we're gonna go ahead and put 1 point into Unliving Energy. Your maximum essence is increased by 3. But we're really interested in Imperfectly Balanced. Your core skills cost 9% more essence, but deal 15% increased damage. By now we should definitely have sorted out our essence regeneration, so you should be good by going for the increased damage. Now it's time to further enhance the survivability and the damage of our skeletal mages with Skeletal Mage Mastery. You increase the damage and life of your skeletal mages by 60% if you rank up to rank 3. Another really good passive in this tree is Amplify Damage. You deal 9% increased damage to cursed enemies. And now it's time to pick our core passive. I would go for Ossified Essence. Your bone skills deal 1% increased damage for each point of essence you have above 50 upon cast. So the goal right there is to just get as much essence as possible with Decompose and then cast a Bone Spear to deal massive damage. Then again go ahead and Decompose until you've got all your essence back and then Bone Spear again. And that's how you get basically all the time 50% damage increase for your Bone Spear or other skills. That's really good. Another thing you could do is go for Kalen's Edict. After you have not taken damage in the last 3 seconds, your minions gain plus 15% attack speed. While you have at least 7 minions, this bonus is doubled. You could play that too, but I would go for more damage for the Bone Spear. Now go for Inspiring Leader. After you have been healthy for at least 4 seconds, you and your minions gain plus 12% attack speed. Remember, healthy is above 80% life, so that's that. And then go for Hellbent Commander, rank it up to 3. Your minions deal 30% increased damage while you're close to them. So that's pretty good for elites or even bosses. Now we head back up again and go to Serration. You can put 3 points into Serration. Your bone skills have a 1.5% increased critical strike chance for each 10 essence you have upon cast. So up to 15% increased critical strike chance right there. Then go ahead and put 1 point into Compound Fracture. After critically striking 10 times with bone skills, your bone skills deal 5% increased damage for 5 seconds. And then 2 points into Evulsion. Your bone skills deal 12% increased critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies. And remember, everything is vulnerable all the time. So, and that leaves us with all our skill points spent. That's level 50 right there. And of course, I will show you how you can invest your skill points you can earn by earning Renown in all the 5 zones. There are 10 additional skill points you can get. I'll show you exactly where to put them. So you could either further enhance the Compound Fracture by another 2 points and Evulsion by another point to get the maximum bonuses here. So another really good passive is the Necrotic Carapace. When a corpse is formed from your skills or your minions, 45 for 6% base life, and that's really good if you still need more survivability. Another thing you could do is further increase the damage and life of your golem by 75% with Golem Mastery rank 3. And those are the points or the passives I would choose if you wanna still spend some more skill points or if you have some left to spend them on something. But now let's head over to our gear and check out the legendary aspects I would choose for this build. And here we've got all the legendary aspects, and like always, I'm only adding aspects that you can get in some of the dungeons, or all of them you can get in dungeons while leveling up and progressing through the campaign and progressing into the different zones and acts of the game. So all those you can get by choice and not by RNG. So 2 of them you should already get in Act 1 in the Fractured Peaks, and that's the aspect of the Protector. Damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier absorbing up to X damage for 10 seconds. This effect can only happen once every 30 seconds, and it's unlocked by completing Lost Archives in Fractured Peaks. So go ahead and grab that right away, and also get the Flesh Rending aspect. After Decompose spawns a corpse, gain 10 essence. So that you get by completing Nostrava Deepwood in Fractured Peaks. That means every 2.5 seconds when you use Decompose and spawn a corpse, you gain an additional 10 essence, which is pretty good. There are 3 more you can get in Act 2 in Skosglen. It's the Edgemaster's Aspect. Skills deal up to 10% increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. So that's 10% more damage for all your skills when you're at 100 essence. And this aspect you can get by completing Old Stones in Skosglen. Let's check out the aspect of reanimation. Your skeletons gain increased damage while alive up to 20% after 10 seconds. So keep them alive 10 seconds and they have 20% increased damage, which is really strong. You get that by progressing the campaign in Skosglen. That's how you unlock this aspect. Another really good one is the aspect of Expectant. You can get that in the Underroot in Skosglen. Attacking enemies with a basic skill increases the damage of your next core skill cast by 5% and up to 30%. So decompose enemy and increase the damage of your next bone spear. Pretty good, I'd say. And the other 3 aspects I've got here are all movement aspects or defensive aspects. You can go ahead and grab those 2 in the Dry Steppes or in the Shifter Ruins or another one in the Corrupted Grotto. So that's where you get those. Pretty good, I'd say. So let's check out how you play your skills, but there's nothing really special to it. Just try to always have all your minions up. You could opt in or out of the golem, just go with the golem or go with your ultimate like I showed you before, and the rest of the gameplay is pretty self-explanatory. You could use your corpse tendrils and decrepify to slow and stun your enemies and curse them. You use decompose to either gain essence, create corpses, or increase the damage your minions make, and also increase the damage of your next bone spear. So that's your massive damage dealer. You can stay far away and just clear the room with the bone spear, which goes through all enemies and basically through your whole screen. So that's how you deal damage from afar, and everything else your minions should take care of. Here again you've got your Book of the Dead, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this build, and I'm really curious, are you going to start with the Necromancer? And if so, which build are you going for? Are you going with or without minions? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be really appreciated. And consider subscribing if you want to see more videos on Diablo 4 from me, and activate the bell notification to never miss a video again. That's it from me for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and I wish you all an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one.